Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Show, and it is that time again. I'm going to pick my championship team of the season. Now, before we get to picking the players, let me just, if I may, do a little bit of preparation on this one, because my experience of doing this same video last year was fairly mixed, let's just say. This subject seems to bring out the absolute most emotional, blunt, and sometimes rather rude comments down in YouTube. So, for fear of sounding a little bit defensive, let me just say the following. I'm about to pick my team. Remember, it's supposed to be fun. Don't get too emotional. When you're thinking about commenting, where's insert player from the team you support, don't worry. Don't worry about who's not there. It's just a bit of fun. I will explain. As it says there, I'll explain my reasoning. But remember, it's subjective. I can have who the hell I like in my 11, and so can you. And just remember at the bottom there, it is far more impressive to build something than it is to tear it down. So when you're thinking about having a pop at who I've decided, a bloke on the internet in my fantasy championship 11, why not, instead of doing that in the comments, have a little think, spend 30 minutes or so and put your 11 in the comments. That would be far more fun. Right, here's how I'm going to do it, and then we'll get to the players. I am going to pick my first 11. COVID rules here, so we can have 9 subs, which is great. And I'm going to pick a manager. I will be using a 4-2-3-1 formation. You can use whatever formation you like. Because I get lots of comments saying, where's so-and-so? I'm going to do a little 5-man shortlist for every position. I'm sure that won't be enough for some people if their favourite player from their favourite team is not in that 5-man shortlist. But I think you're getting the idea now that it doesn't really matter, does it? Try and make the team balanced. Try and make it work. Remember Yaya Touré's greatest team he played with, I don't know, Xavi at left back or something. We don't want that. And most importantly, if my team is different to yours, that's okay. It's a little bit of fun. If I pick a player in a position and you would have someone else, fine. Don't get cross. Don't sit there and keyboard warrior it. Pick your own team. That'd be far more fun. Right, let's get to it. First of all, in the goalkeeping position, there are my 5 to choose from. Bartosz Białkowski, great stopper at Millwall. Very consistent there. Dylan Phillips at Charlton, played a ton of games there. Got a lot of practice. Marek Rodak, who was on loan at Rotherham last year, worked his way through there, forced Bettinelli out of the team. David Raya at Brentford, good with his feet and part of a very strong Brentford defence. And Brice Samba there, a very characterful goalkeeper and a very commanding goalkeeper. Here we go. I've gone for David Raya in goal. He just beats out Brice Samba, who's going to go on the bench, just on the basis of distribution. When you realise who the manager of my team is and how they're going to play, I need a keeper who can play with his feet and be a good shot stopper. And I think Raya is there. I think he's done really well. First season at Blackburn, then moved up into a top 6 team where he's done great. Yes, I know some people have mentioned that horrible mistake against Hull, but he's been very good. So he's going to be my goalkeeper. Who's going to be my right back? There are my 5 to choose from. Again, if you'd have somebody different in yours, fine. Pick your team, stick it in the comments. Luke Ayling, great step up under Bielsa to improve into a championship winning player now. Jayden Bogle, brilliant young right back at Derby. Matty Cash, a huge surprise this season, converting from a right winger to a right back. Superb job there in a very good functioning Forest defence. Maxime Collin there of of Birmingham got forward well, given some assists as well. Ex-Brentford player and a current Brentford player there, Henrik Dalsgaard, who's in the main, the Brentford right back, and also extra bonus with him, he can cover at centre back. I have gone for Matty Cash. I think he just edges out Luke Ayling just a little bit better technically. Ayling's been fantastic and followed those Bielsa instructions. And what Ayling does give me on the bench there as well is he's played left back, he's played centre back, he's done it all. But I am going to go for Matty Cash as my right back. If you would have Ayling, great. Stick it in the comments. Stick your team down there in the comments. Here are my choices for left back. There is Joe Bennett of Cardiff. Good set play guy. Joe Bryan, who's done well attacking wise, questions defensive wise, but lots of assists for Mitrovic. Rico Henry, he's been super duper consistent, hasn't he? For Brentford, and a good attacking player as well. Christian Pedersen, linked away with Premier League moves there. Another Birmingham fullback, actually, in fact, and can also cover in probably as a left centre back if you wanted to. And Anthony Robinson, really good progressive passer at Wigan, who've had a tremendous run at the second half of the season and nearly moved to AC Milan during the season. Here is who I've gone for. It is indeed Anthony Robinson. I wanted to get some recognition for what Wigan have done second half of the season, and Robinson coming back from injury there. He would be perfect in my team with his progressive passing. On the bench, I've gone for Christian Pedersen. I know I'm going to have annoyed Brentford fans about Rico Henry there, but for terms of my squad, I just might want a guy, if we want to go to three at the back, who can sit in there as a left-footed centre half as well. Moving on, centre backs, there is Leeds captain Liam Cooper, their championship winning captain. Michael Hector, who made a big impact arriving at Fulham in the January transfer window, and did a good job at Sheffield Wednesday last season. There is Sean Hutchinson of Millwall. He's been great and consistent for them. Ethan Pinnock, didn't expect him to play all the games he's played, stepped up from Barnsley this season. And there is Ben White on loan at Leeds, but another champion. Obviously, I'm going to go for three here. I'm going to have two centre-backs in my team and one substitute. I have gone for Ben White. I think that's a fairly easy choice. He's probably been the best centre-back in the league, hasn't he? A good mixture of being able to play and being big enough and physical. And just alongside him, just probably a little bit more power. I know I don't have a natural left footer there, but I've gone for Hector. I like the influence he had on Fulham. And I think those two would be a good pair. You need your physicality in the Championship, but you've got to be able to play. They both can. Ethan Pinnock is on the bench there. He's been great, and he could sit to the left side of Pinnock, just in the interest, of White, in the interest of balance if we needed him. Right, I'm going 4-2-3-1. So I want two sitting midfielders. There is my choice of 5 players. Remember, if your team traditionally doesn't play a 4-2-3-1, that might influence me against certain players. I'm thinking of Matthias Klitsch there. He's not a deep line player there. I'm sure his name will come up in the comments. But there we go. Jude Bellingham just made that huge transfer out to Dortmund. Tom Cairney, brilliant at this level. Alex Mowat of Barnsley has been a great progressive passer and a real good influence on their team. Stepped up well. Calvin Phillips, don't need to say any more about him. And John Swift of Reading, who's had an excellent season. Obviously, Chelsea graduate, wasn't he? And he's now a top performing Championship progressive passer as well. And I have gone for, well, Phillips was a bit of a no-brainer. He's been fantastic. He'll probably be in the England squad next season at some point. I've also gone for John Swift. I just think that would be a good partnership there. Phillips would likely sit and help out defensively. Swift would progress the ball and maybe move forward a little bit further. I've gone for Bellingham on the bench of Birmingham. Obviously, I just think he's one of the top 10 highest value sales out of the Championship ever. Going to be a brilliant player, we hope, for his sake. And I really wanted to put him in. I know I'm going to have comments, particularly on Tom Cairney. He's bossed this division before, and just on the basis of the standards he's set, and I've put him in loads of teams before, I'm not going to put him in this one. So no Tom Cairney for me in central midfield. Here we go. So I'm 4-2-3-1. This is the right-hand side, front right here. There is Andre Ayew, who has stayed around at Swansea on probably a high wage and done a really good job. Joe Lolly, who loves to cut in from that right-hand side on that left foot of his and score an assist, as does Brian Mbeumo in a 4-3-3 maybe, though, at Brentford. Bright Asai Samuel has done a really good job of breaking in, and I think he's going to be off to Bruges, isn't he, very soon, but a good season for him. And there is Jed Wallace of Millwall. This is a very, very difficult call, but I have gone for Jed Wallace. Pure output here. When you see who my other players along the front three are, you'll realise that maybe sometimes you need a direct runner who's going to get goals and assists. Good for set plays as well. Real breakthrough season. I did want to represent Millwall in some way in this team. On the bench, I've gone for Ayew. I know people will bang the drum for Mbeumo, but maybe my system negates him a little bit, not playing a 4-3-3. And Lolly, in the same way as Cairney, as well as dominated this division and put up bigger numbers than he has this season. So I'm going to go for Ayew on the bench. Right, this one's an absolute nightmare. Look at those five. This is front left. Adam Armstrong, pure pace and lots of goals. Said Benrahma, wow. Grady Diangana, brilliant on loan from West Ham at West Brom. Eberichi Eze, what a player he has been for QPR. In the main, played out from the left-hand side. And Jack Harrison there from Leeds, such a consistent player, such a good season for him. Look, whoever I don't pick here, I'm going to get some emotional comments about. Let's just bring up the slide, shall we, and see who I went for. Look, Benrahma, everyone knows who's watched the channel. I love him. Superb, superb player. He's my guy. And I can't not have Eze in this squad. I know I could have probably slipped him in at number 10, but I'm trying to be true to where these guys have played for the most part during the season. So I've gone for Benrahma and Eze. Harrison maybe misses out on the basis that he's been an orthodox left midfielder. Diangana, shall we say? I didn't want too many lone players, and I already had Ben White in there. Armstrong was very close in terms of just having a runner and a goal scorer, but I feel I've done that on the other side with Jed Wallace. So it's all a balance issue there. So for all of you people who are going to ask me why, that is why indeed. Here is my shortlist for number 10s there. Izzy Brown, another loanee down from Chelsea. Real big impact on Luton's results whenever he was in the team. Lots of injuries, though. The great Pablo Hernandez there. Probably wasn't going to have him in before lockdown, but just post-lockdown coming off the bench has just been wonderful. Daniel Johnson started the season like a house on fire. Hasn't always played number 10, but his figures at the start of the season were phenomenal. Matheus Pereira, brilliant season for him at West Brom in the 10. And Lee Tomlin, since Neil Harris has arrived, has really, really been a big player there for Cardiff. Really good output for him. Goals and assists. Looks like he's got it together. Let's see who I'm going for. At number 10, I have gone for Matheus Pereira. I do think, I know this system I'm playing does suit him because he has been the best player of the teams that play that system. But he's really been a joy to watch. Really lovely player. I know he likes a running battle and maybe goes to ground sometimes, but superb player. And just on the basis of the running, I've got to have Hernandez in there. Maybe it goes against Daniel Johnson because he's been moved around a little bit. Maybe Brown has been injured too much and Tomlin hasn't put it together for the whole season. So that is my number 10. Up top, here are my choices there. Carlin Grant, a load of goals for Huddersfield this season, and they've struggled. And he's been put out left as well, hasn't he, at times? Lewis Graben, bespoke striker, scores goals, 20 again for him this season. Mitrovic, brilliant top scorer as we stand here the day before final day. Might be overtaken by one of the other guys in the frame there, but powerful, good finisher. Well, need I say any more? Nalki Wells has actually got 20 goals for QPR and Bristol City Championship go-to guy like Graben. And there is the other top scorer, Ollie Watkins, not a bespoke striker converted from winger, but would certainly be a good guy to have around here. Is who I've gone for. Look, I can't not go for Mitrovic. He's really propped Fulham up at times, and just that right mix of strength, power, finishing, no slouch as well, will hopefully do work for me up front. On the bench, I've gone for Watkins. I couldn't really ignore him just on the sheer amount of goals, and he's going to be very useful on the bench. I guess people will fly the flag, particularly for Graben, but I just couldn't leave Watkins out. It's no knock on Graben. My manager, I've tried to pick 5. I admit there's no Gary Rowett there, and maybe if I were doing this after the playoffs and Fulham won the playoffs, I might put Scott Parker there. But Bielsa, obviously, brilliant. Bilic, he's only been there 1 season. I know people will say he'll fail if he doesn't take parachute-funded squad with all of those players there, but he still might. I've got to represent Paul Cook there. Even if we're going to end up going down on the last day, he's done such a great job, and it's going to be that deduction of 12 points that screws him. Thomas Frank's really stepped up as a top 6 manager this season. Looks like Brentford will be finishing in 3rd. And Sabri Lamouchi may be the most above expectations there. I know they've dropped off a little bit towards the end of the season, but impressive stuff and a very clear game plan at Forest. But there'll be no surprises, really. Bielsa's been incredible, hasn't he? And it's in terms of just pure coaching as well. It's not just been recruitment, has it? It's been, improving the likes of Ayling and Phillips, who both have made my squad there, just to new levels. So there you have it. There is my 2019-20 Championship team of the season. In goal, David Raya of Brentford will prove good distribution and shot stopping. The fullbacks are Cash and Robinson, should give me good balance. I wanted to represent Wigan as well. And going forward, Cash should provide a lot of threat, as he does. Ben White there has been superb, as has Michael Hector for Fulham. There should give me enough of a mix of physicality and ability on the ball. There, the double pivot, Phillips and Swift. Phillips likely more sitting and Swift moving forward to progress the ball. I like my balance across the front 3. You can't have 3 fantasy players there who are just going to dribble and try and create. So Jed Wallace is a runner and a direct player and a good set play player. Big output from him. Pereira and Benrahma might have a few arguments as to who's going to have the ball the whole time, but they should be able to coexist and switch around in and out of that number 10 position. And I had to go for Mitrovic up the top there, top Championship striker. Bielsa is the coach, and there are my substitutes: Brice Samba, who's been great for Forest, Luke Ayling, who can help me out in a number of positions across the back there, as can Christian Pedersen. Pinnock could be a first-choice centre-half there, and will help out in lieu of any injuries. Jude Bellingham for the potential there. Maybe I'm a bit light in that area. I've only got 1 player. Maybe we can bring Ben White forward like Bielsa's done if we have any injuries there. And there, really, Ayew, Eze and Hernandez there. Ayew gives me a more functional player there rather than more fantasy players like Eze and Hernandez. But I can't ignore either of those. And I can't ignore Ollie Watkins and his 25 goals. I hope everybody has enjoyed this video and takes it in the spirit. As I said, some overly emotional comments last year and maybe some people taking it a bit too seriously. So let me try and preempt some questions. I've said already, I know I'll get them, but I'll try and preempt it. Where's an insert player from the team you follow? Look, it is what it is. It's a fantasy 11. Remember, I'm neutral. There's an Ipswich scarf. I don't have a dog in the fight here. I have no emotional attachment to any players, and it's just a bit of fun. Again, pick your own 11. Why are there only X amount insert team you follow players? So, for example, why are there only if you look in there, 2 Leeds players. Well, I've tried to represent lots of different teams. Sue me if that's wrong. And maybe in some teams, particularly like in Leeds' case, maybe it's the manager that's the star guy, and maybe the team functions beautifully as a whole, which 11s like this don't represent, do they? Where you've got a beautiful, well-drilled pattern of play. Star 11s don't represent that. So maybe it's a bit of that too. But again, and we got this last year from some Norwich fans. So I'll put it in here. Leeds were champions. Why not just pick their entire team? What I would say to that is get in the bin. Come on, have a bit of fun. We're trying to pick players from different teams and a fantasy 11. Yes, of course, whoever the team of champions are essentially the best team. But we're trying to have fun and build dream 11s. If that's your dream 11, then frankly, I don't know why you would have watched 20 minutes of me talking about mine. But again, I will say, why not pick your own 11? Let's just do a few quick plugs. You can support the channel financially by using Super Chat on YouTube. You can subscribe on Patreon. But for absolutely free, you can like, comment, share, retweet, and subscribe. And I want to thank everybody for helping the channel reach 10,000 subs. That was my championship team of the season. I hope you enjoyed it. I will put it up one more time. My apologies for maybe trying to preempt a little bit too much, but I do have to say, in defense of YouTubers who do this, I've just spent 2 or 3 hours working on that video, and frankly it is a bit galling when literally after 10 seconds of it being up, where's Stuart Dallas? So please, if you want to comment, please watch the video, listen to my reasoning, and then if you still have a question about my 11, if it matters that much to you and you don't want to pick your own 11, stick it in there. But one more time, there is my championship team of the season. I hope you like it. I hope you have enjoyed the video. We will finish on that slide, and I will say thank you everybody for watching, and please get your comments in, but why not try and pick your own 11? Again, it takes a great deal more thought to build something than it does to tear down something that somebody else has built. Right, thank you for watching. Hope it's been fun, and I'll see you on the next video. Over and out.